This is a Champion News special report. Today we have three young gentlemen from the Lemont Junior Tea Party, and they started this group because they realized their country was in trouble. We have right here to my left, we have Mike, and we have Ed and Dave, and they are all 14 years old. And welcome, gentlemen. Thank you for joining us, and thank you for helping to preserve liberty. Do you think America is in a good direction right now?
Not at the moment. The reason I believe that is because, number one, we're giving all our manufacturing away, and number two, our debt is out of control. If we don't fix the debt, China's gonna own almost everything over here.
Ed, what do you think? Do you think America's heading in a good direction?
No.
No? And Ed, you come from, where do you come from? Tell me a little bit about your story. And you came to America, why?
Because we didn't like socialism, because he owned everything, and we couldn't pretty much vote for whatever we want. And the government was pretty much ran by mobsters, mafia.
Do you think America's going in a good direction, or you think we could do better?
You could do better. At this moment, it's kind of bad because Barack Obama's here, so.
And Dave, tell me a little bit about how you feel the direction America is going into.
I think we're going down.
We're going down. And what do you think we need to do?
Well, I think we need to go back to the way it used to be. Everyone needs to try to work. I know there's people who can't get jobs. It's a bad economy, but we have to get ourselves back out there. We have to stop borrowing and bring our companies back to America.
I know you all don't pay taxes yet, but the government does get a lot of money from taxpayers, and a lot of times government makes decisions based on political factors such as districts and political allegiances, and they waste money. Do you think that this government, this particular administration, is being good stewards of our money, or do you think they have a tendency to waste money?
Oh, they're wasting money.
I think they're wasting our money. Yeah.
Are you guys familiar with TARP, the bailout, the first bailout?
Somewhat.
Somewhat.
We know of it.
Do you think that when you bail out big companies, that that's an American way to do things?
Well, no, because America was started with small businesses in mind. You gotta keep small businesses alive in order to keep America alive. Because if you have an America just with big businesses, it won't thrive as well. The small business sector helps America, I believe, more.
By giving jobs and opportunity to other people. Unemployment, there's an unemployment figure right now, and there's a real figure of about 24%. Now, are you guys familiar with how unemployment works?
Well, it's when you can't find a job or you got laid off, right?
Yep.
You get money for 99 weeks, I believe.
Yeah, it's very, very extended. Now, do you think that's giving people an initiative to go work if they can make more money on unemployment?
No. I think we should shorten the time or shorten the amount of money we're giving them.
Maybe cut it down a little bit, maybe to 80 weeks. But what I think you should do is try to prove that you're out there trying to get a job. Because I can go for a job at a Walmart or somewhere that's hiring, or I can take the money from the government, and the government might be giving me more money than what the Walmart would be. And so I think it's easier to take the money and do whatever I want with it.
Heck, if you
Because
get
it's also free.
paid more by the government, why would you want to look for a job?
Well,
Exactly.
I think that's a lot of the problem. I think that unemployment is higher than some of these jobs like at Walmart or at McDonald's. And why would I want to actually have to get up and go to work and do something if I'm going to make more money staying home collecting unemployment? Are you guys familiar with the Constitution? I'm sure you all took a Constitution test.
Yeah.
Do you think America is the constitutional republic that our founders had envisioned?
No.
Well, we're leaning away from it. The reason I say that is because mainly they're targeting our Second Amendment rights.
Which is that? What is our
right
second?
to bear arms.
Okay.
And lots of people think that was put into place for hunting, but that's not the real reason. The real reason the Second Amendment was put into place was because in case the government got out of hand, the people could stop it with the arms. And the government now is afraid of us because, so when you have liberty, the government is afraid of the people, and when you have tyranny, the people are afraid of the government. Right now, it seems we almost have tyranny.
What do you think, Dave?
Well, I'd like to add something to that Second Amendment thing. But the government's trying to say, like gangs and stuff, they want to get rid of that amendment. So the gangs and other people, like criminals, won't have guns. But do you really think these guns are registered? Like, really?
No.
But here's the real
exactly.
question.
They will still get it.
Exactly.
But here's the thing, even if they ban guns, the question is, do criminals follow the laws? What is a definition of a criminal? Someone
Yeah.
who does not follow the law. So if all the law-abiding citizens hand in their weapons, they'll be defenseless. But the criminals won't do it, and then they can, pretty much
Do whatever you want.
do whatever they
Well,
want.
Ed, you were just saying something. The criminals would get the
Yeah, they
gun.
will still get it. Doesn't matter if it's like against the law. They'll still get it.
Why do you say that?
Well, I don't know. They just do.
Well, they don't
drug-
follow the laws.
Yeah.
Like drugs are against the law, and they still
Yeah,
get
and they
those.
still get it.
So for us to have our Second Amendment rights pulled, it's going to hurt the law-abiding citizens, is what I'm hearing you guys
Exactly.
are saying.
Exactly.
Now, all of you are going to high school.
Yeah.
Are you looking forward to that?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. Do you think your teachers are on the side of liberty, or do you think what they're teaching in school these days is a little different?
I think it's a little different.
Yeah.
Instead of teaching liberty, they're teaching liberal ideas here. And that's what I'm worried about, because they don't give the conservatives a good viewpoint compared to how they give the liberals a good viewpoint. They make the conservatives look like, we don't want to give the poor people any money, because, and I'm mad at that, because in reality, the conservatives want the people to take care of themselves. And when the people take care of themselves, they'll be more self-reliant, and then the government will shrink. When the government shrinks, that's good for the country, I'd say. Get the government out of our faces.
And with the teachers, the teacher union, so they're going to be more towards the liberal side, and they're going to try to push their agenda on our generation.
Well, I think unions are a good idea when they first started
Exactly.
off, but when they get out of hand, they're not a good thing anymore. Unions were started to get fair hours and wages, but that's not what they are anymore. These teachers and all the other government workers are getting large amounts of monies and pensions after they're not even working, and non-government workers are left to die in the dust almost, I don't think that's fair. The unions are out of hand nowadays. They need to be controlled at some extent.
You made a really good point that you said when the unions were started, they were protecting the people. But now what I'm hearing is the unions are starting to actually take over and take control. And how are the people being protected by the unions?
I mean, like now?
Do you think that the people are being protected by the unions, or think that the unions are in for their own
Over.
special interests?
Well, I think all of them are overprotected now. I mean, they're getting large amounts of money, pensions after they stop working, and I think they're just. And the union itself is probably looking out for its own self as well. But I think the unions do need to be controlled to some extent. But that's my opinion.
I think you're right, and I think good legislative policy can help do that. What do you guys think of taxes?
Well, my opinion on them, yes, they're necessary to establish, fire departments and police departments, public libraries, excuse me. But when you raise the taxes too much, they're using it for themselves, and they're not giving the money to those companies. But when you have lower taxes, that's actually more business friendly. And when the government is business friendly, it allows the economy to thrive, because those businesses can hire more workers and give them higher wages. And once they have jobs and money, they can spend it to buy things in the economy, and it'll keep it rolling.
Yeah, and that's what
Stimulate others.
and that's what in Lithuania, like you gotta pay like a lot of taxes, and like more than half of the, like more like than half of the money goes like to random people. Like the government people, they just buy houses and like rip people off.
Wow. Now,
Yeah.
what were you going to
And
say?
if you want to like talk against them, like express your opinion, you could probably get shot.
You'd get shot if you...
Yeah, they would just come after you, like random people.
There's not a big First Amendment right over there, huh?
No.
Now, Dave, what were you going to say?
Well, I was going to agree with Mike here. That's actually normally what I say too.
So what I'm hearing you guys are saying, government simply does not allocate resources as effectively as the private sector.
Yes.
So government just kind of spends more and more gets wasted, and the private sector is less able to grow.
Yes.
Do you think the policy that the Barack Obama administration has implemented over the past 2.5, 3 years is business friendly?
Well, business friendly to the super big companies. I believe like last year, a couple of years ago, GE didn't even pay any taxes, if I'm right. And yet they're giving the small businesses that are kind of struggling the tax, and that's, I mean, yes, all businesses need to be taxed, but you need to all tax. You can't leave the big sector, leave it alone. You got to tax them as well. See, that's not fair. So.
Well, Jeffrey Immelt, who I believe is the CEO of GE, isn't he part of Barack Obama's administration?
Wow.
One of his head SARs or advisors?
I think so, but the reason GE didn't pay any taxes this year or last year was because they were one of his biggest supporters in campaign donations, and that's most likely why.
That sounds like a little bit of cronyism. What do you think, Dave?
I think well, the government, they're getting their money from taxes. They need all the money they can get right now.
Why is that?
Because we have this giant debt, and it could cut a little bit of, I mean, there's this much, but a penny saved is a penny earned.
Now, do you think our debt is going to be sustainable?
No.
What do you think, Ed?
Not really. Like, yeah.
Now, we recently had a vote on the debt increase. Did Barack Obama show strong leadership in that debate?
Well, he has his way of pushing people around, but this new debt deal is not good. I think it raises the debt ceiling, and it's the last thing we need, because if we keep on borrowing money from countries such as China, they'll eventually want it back. They'll say, hey, what do you have? Excuse me. They'll say, what do you have for collateral? If that's the way. And then we'll say, we got nothing. Then they'll say, hey, if you don't pay us back, how about we get Hawaii or Alaska, because those have valuable resources in it, and that's what we have for collateral right now. And if we don't pay them back, that's eventually going to lead to a worst case scenario.
So we're giving our country away, we're giving your future away, and your children's future away, which I hope you all don't have for a very long time, by the way. Now, you guys have started this group. What is the objective of your group?
Our objective is to educate the young kids, like our age, the teenagers, and some older kids as well, on what's really going on, because the news isn't getting the word out. I mean, even though Fox News is fair and balanced, there's still a few subjects they won't touch, because they're actually owned 20% by, well, I don't know the organization, but I think it's something in Saudi Arabia, and they don't report on a few things. So, I mean, talk radio is the best. Talk radio and the internet are the best way to get the news out. And our group basically educates the kids on what's really going on. And that leads the kids to challenge the teachers. I mean, you got to be respectful in class, but if you're hearing something that's wrong, you got to raise your hand and stand up. And that's basically what our group's teaching, because you got to educate them so they can actually defend themselves if they decide to take a stand at that point.
So it sounds like educating and empowering them to be able to be a counter voice to some of this liberalism is what I'm hearing. And how do you guys plan on doing that? How have you been doing that up till now?
So far, basically, we're just using our Facebook page, and we're doing that because almost everyone has one.
Everyone your age has one.
Well, everyone our age has one. And so basically, that's the easiest way to get the message out to all the kids. And then recently, we got invited down to a meeting on July 12th, back a couple weeks ago, and we actually made a speech. There were a few kids there, but mostly adults, so, and then that's what we did so far.
So do you think you guys can get stuff to go viral through your capacity, through the internet, through Facebook and Twitter applications?
Well, if it grows big enough and it's managed well, yes, it can.
Are you the manager of it?
Well, I wouldn't say manager, I'm the founder and president, but, you know. And then we got our core group of guys who are other administrators. They can help, such as David. And then a few other guys, too. We're thinking about starting a group in high school. So it's like, why wouldn't they allow us to have a nice civilized
like a street club.
group, you know, as long as we're not causing trouble, which we don't. I know from my brother, who's in high school right now, he knows a couple conservative teachers, which is good. So, and I think you have to have like 20 members, and that's no problem for us because we have like 74 in our group on Facebook.
Are they all from your same school?
Yeah, pretty much.
They're all from Lemont.
There's a couple kids who aren't from Lemont, but
We have about 2 or 3 people who don't have Facebooks, but they're also in our group.
like we discuss this at lunch and stuff. Because at lunch, you know, we'd be minding our own business at the lunch table, then some liberal would hear us, and then they'll start arguing with us.
So tell me, what's it like arguing with liberals?
Well, it seems they've drank the Kool-Aid, and once they did that, you can't get them back. You can't work with them. They just refuse to listen.
They're arrogant.
Yeah, they're arrogant.
Do you not find them to be open to dialogue?
Well, no, it's like you could like have a point.
Yeah, they
It's
just
like-
wouldn't listen to you.
Just
Keep saying their opinions.
yeah, it's like
And when you
Yes.
start talking, they just like talk over you.
They interrupt, and then, you know,
Yeah.
when they do that, you say,
Just
hey,
like my
it's
social
not
studies
polite
teacher,
to
I'm like talking to her, trying to argue. She just keeps on talking. Go to the office. I'm like, okay.
You know, I'm going to tell you, one of my best friends grew up with her. In fact, I met her when I was your age, just before I entered high school. And we were friends. We're still friends. But she's taken this liberal bent. The good news is, as I spoke to her last Saturday at great length, and I asked her, so how do you think all this stuff is going, this hope and change? I don't want to talk about it. And so I think some people are starting to have this awakening, and we're counting on you guys to impact and influence the folks your age. But if they don't listen to you, how do you think you're going to make them listen to you?
people up in Washington, they're doing I don't want to say good job, but I mean a poor job. So they're kind of like driving them to look for someone else, and you have people telling you, hey, these guys are doing a pretty good job over here, you know, try them out.
Maybe they're kind of waking up to this madness. You gotta get them on one key point.
What is that?
Well, it varies with all different people. Some people like sports cars, and I think a couple years back they were trying to ban cars with, like, if it gets under 20 miles per gallon, they wouldn't want you to be driving that, and I think that's why they had the cash for clunkers. And then also, if you have a hunter or something, and they say, and you tell them they're trying to take away your Second Amendment rights, that's a point you might get them on. So you gotta sneak in something they're interested in.
Do you know why schools were established, guys?
To teach about God.
To teach about the Bible, to teach children to learn how to read the Bible. Now, you think Barack Obama is going to be reelected in 2012?
Well,
No.
No?
it's kind of a 50-50 chance here, because since the liberals are very good at manipulating people, there still might be a chance, but hopefully not.
I heard he's going to raise $1 billion.
You know, some Democrats are also angered with what he's doing, but I think he can try to say, well, I'm the guy that got bin Laden, but the main thing that's going to get him is the economy, and unless there's a giant turnaround between now and 2012, I don't think he has a chance.
Do you think there's going to be a turnaround in our economy?
No. Later on,
Maybe.
You got to
down the road.
be more business friendly. Start the manufacturing. Bring it back to America. And that will supply many jobs. And it'll teach people how to work with their hands as well.
What do you guys plan on doing to help make sure Barack Obama's not reelected in 2012?
Number one, educate the kids. And, we tell them at the dinner table, have a discussion with your parents on what their opinions are. We get some positive responses, some not so positive responses. But we're also planning on handing out campaign literature for the 2012 candidates from door to door. So hopefully that will go well.
Think you guys can get an army in your neighborhood to do that?
I guess so.
It's kind of fun. You guys are young and have the energy to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I guess we were talking about this next election and what you guys are planning to do. What would be the biggest message for the Republican Party to focus on? And you kind of hit on it before, to help influence all voters. And you hit on it.
Find a key point.
What would one big key point for the Republican Party just to keep hammering?
The economy.
Ding, 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 ding. James Carville said that in 1992 against George Bush the First. It's the economy, stupid. Do you think the Republican Party has the wherewithal to have their message be heard?
I'm not sure, but
You think you guys can help influence
I
them?
think we can.
Yeah, we could.
See, sometimes the Republicans don't explain how they're going to do it, and people are skeptical then why they should vote for them. They need to put out real plans of how they're going to fix the economy, and then why lowering taxes would be good. They don't really say that on television. Another point to bring up is the media kind of glorifies one weak Republican candidate and puts him out as the weak horse, so their candidate has a better chance of winning. I kind of noticed that with the 2008 presidential election.
Do you guys look forward to your futures?
Yep, I do.
I
do.
think anything can happen right now. We have a lot of potential, but with this economy, you don't know what's going to happen. You can look forward to the future, but there's no guarantee it's going to be a good one.
Now, you said something, most young people are liberal. And I've heard it said, when you're young, if you're not a liberal, you don't have a heart. And when you're older, if you're not a conservative, you don't have a brain. I think a lot of young people, before they actually get a job and get a paycheck, they may have a propensity to be more liberal.
Mm-hmm.
But I think after you get a paycheck, what comes out of that paycheck?
Taxes.
And I think it's pretty steep, huh?
Mm-hmm, yeah. You get taxed on a whole garbage load of stuff, You get taxed on the money in your bank, the money you spend, the money you save, and the money right from your paycheck, sales tax. The Founding Fathers, were sick of taxes, and that's why they had their Tea Party.
That's what started this nation.
Yeah.
Revolution.
And they were paying taxes to who?
The British.
And what kind of were they doing, like stamp taxes and things like that to King
Taxes
George?
on tea, yeah. And, some taxes nowadays aren't too far off from those. Like, I think there's a tax on sweets now, such as like soda, an extra tax on that, and that's terrible. And I also think that they're trying to put a tax on toilet paper.
Are you kidding me? What, are we going to have to go use leaves if we don't want to pay the tax?
Isn't the Cook County tax like 9%?
Cook County tax is high. Do you guys live in Cook County?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like right on the border, though.
So you could, and what do you do? Tell me what you do when your parents go spend, $200 at a grocery store. Do they shop in Cook County or do they go to a different county?
My parents usually go out of different counties sometimes, but if it's something like really close by and you need it right
One
away.
thing is not going to make a difference, but if somebody's going to buy like mattresses for $1,200 between 9% and 7%, that's a big difference, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's what's happening in Illinois too. People are leaving, the businesses are leaving the state of Illinois right now specifically to what you said, Michael, because taxes are so high. And it's amazing that you young people know this, and there's adults that don't have the knowledge that you guys do, and you're really appreciated for all the hard work you're doing, and you guys got to keep it up. Any other words you'd like to say?
If there's any kids out here right now, I'd just like to call you to get involved in the Tea Party movement. Do what I'm doing. Start your own on Facebook. Get your friends involved. Talk about it at lunch. Challenge your teachers. But if you challenge your teachers, make sure you're educated on the topic you're challenging them on.
And don't be afraid to stand up, because it's your future.
If the Founding Fathers were afraid to stand up, we'd be British.
This is Carol Parisi reporting for our special report from Champion News. And if these great patriotic young people don't inspire you to get up and take back your country, if they don't light a fire in you, your wood is wet. Thank you, gentlemen. And what was the last words you wanted to say?
We'd like to say, God bless America. A nation without God is a nation gone under.